It's my responsibility to share as much information as possible about the upcoming supplemental levy increase that the voters will be asked to vote on November 8th. And so this evening I'm going to share just a little bit of information about why and the reason that I'm here. So our levy, our supplemental levy, is an indefinite, permanent supplemental levy that supplements the revenue that we receive from the state of Idaho. Every 5 to 7 years, that levy must be increased because the levy is a dollar amount. This year we have the added problem of having a reduced revenue from the state of Idaho, and I'll share a little bit about that as we go through this presentation. So we have had reduced revenue from the state. The levy was last run in 2007. It's been 5 years, and I went to the board, asked them to approve the request to ask for $1.97 million to add to the permanent levy of $7.6 million that is already in place. The reasons we're doing that this time around is you can see the two lower bars, the red bars, are the local supplemental. That's a dollar amount that stays the same. And you notice it's a little bit different because of the tort liability levy that goes along with that, that's mandated by the state. And also there are some times when taxpayers don't pay their taxes and other times when they do. And so it changes from year to year just a little bit, but it's been $7.6 million since 2007. You'll see on the state side in 2007, we received a little over $12 million from the state to help operate the school district. In 2011, that's down about $2.6 million, and so a significant reduction in state funding. And to keep our schools operating, we do have to ask for an increase to that supplemental levy. In essence, what's going on is the state has shifted responsibility to the local taxpayer. So why is this levy needed given that student enrollment has not increased? As I said, the state revenue has been reduced about $2.6 million since 2007. And then the Students Come First legislation this spring is telling us that our reductions will continue. And as you can see right now, this year we've been reduced about 1.6% from what we were last year, and that will increase to a reduction of about 6.42% in 2014, and then that levels off at about 5.74, less in fiscal year 2016 and beyond than what we've had this last year. You'll also notice that our per pupil expenditure has increased, just like everything else, just like it has in our homes. Fuel, everything has gone up, and so costs have caught up with the amount of revenue that we've received. What does that buy in the Moscow School District? It buys small class sizes. Our community has an expectation that we do the best we can for their children. All of our teachers are highly qualified. In many schools throughout the state of Idaho, because of reductions, they have gone to positions that are not even endorsed in some of their electives, music, excuse me, art, special education. We've got a quality K-12 gifted talented special services program on both ends to help with our disabled kids and our gifted kids, and also an extracurricular program that's incredible. So what does that get us? It gets us very, very high scores. You'll see that we're well above the state average on our ISAT, which is our annual achievement test, and our graduation rate is probably amongst the best in the nation. You'll go around in the nation and you'll see graduation rates in the 55 to 60% in some schools, and a national average at about 84%. Our SAT scores, those are our college entrance exams, again, well above anything, even national average. So what have we done? We've lost about $2.6 million in the last 5 years. We've already cut about 17 certified staff positions, but we've still been able to continue to keep our class sizes manageable. We've reduced our contract days for all of our new administrators, including administrators who have moved from position to position. Supply budgets have been cut dramatically, and you can go down that list and you can see that everything that we've done, we've tried to keep in line with the revenue reductions that we've had from the state. Here's an expenditures comparison between 2007 and 11. As you can tell on the two sets of bars on the left, we're a people business. And salaries and benefits make up the bulk of our expenditures, about 87% of our expenditures, as a matter of fact. We are only up about $300,000 in an almost $12 million budget in the last 5 years on the salaries. The rest of the line items, purchase services, supplies, capital objects, insurance, and transfers out have stayed relatively the same. Transfers out have increased over the last 5 years because of repairs that we've had to make to infrastructure, including roofs, boilers, asphalt, and so on. So what will be eliminated? As you go around the state of Idaho, you see that schools are closing. Dramatic reductions have taken place. Some districts throughout the state have gone to a 4-day week. We would like to look at all of our programs as a whole. But in the end, we believe it's going to be in the best interest of the community to pass a levy and keep our programs in place as the Moscow community expects. The impact on taxpayers, a $1.97 million increase is about $1.54 per thousand. The average homeowner would pay approximately $200 more per year, or about $17 per month. This is a sample Latah County property tax statement, and this one is for a city homeowner of an average value of $205,000. That's the market value, not the sale value of a home. The market value being $205,000. If you look up at the top right-hand side, you'll see that the lot value would be around $60,000, with the home value at $145,000, and then take away the homeowner's exemption on this property would be about $75,000. Gets a market value of around $130,000. If you look down on the lower left-hand corner, $130,000 using the multiplier 0015424 is an annual increase for the supplemental levy of $200. If you look down through the line items on the lower right-hand side, you'll see the City of Moscow, you'll see Moscow bonds. Moscow School District does not have a bond at this time. That's a blank line. The supplemental levy, currently that average homeowner would pay $792, which would raise it up about $200 to $992 for the average homeowner. So the ballot question, this is exactly what the voter will see on the ballot on November 8th, shows that the ask for the Board of Trustees to raise the indefinite term supplemental levy in the amount of $1.97 million for a total annual levy of $9.586 million to maintain and operate the district. People can vote at their regular polling place on November 8th in person. People can start voting actually October 7th from 8 till 5 p.m. as an absentee ballot. People who are not registered would need to pre-register at the Latah County Courthouse or at the day of the election at the polling place. And to register, citizens must have a photo ID and proof of residence, and sign a personal identification affidavit. The supplemental levy, we're giving several presentations. As you can see, there are 4 listed on the PowerPoint. All presentations will take place at the Moscow Junior High Multipurpose Room at 6:30 p.m. You're getting a brief overview this evening, and I would hope that people who are very interested and want to ask us questions would come to any of those public information presentations October 12th, October 18th, October 27th, or November 3rd. And we would ask everyone to please vote on Election Day or vote absentee beginning October 7th. Thank you very much. Oh, and incidentally, all of this information plus more, all available on the school district's website. And we'd be happy to answer questions at any time, and I stand for questions at this time if you have them.
Thank you, Superintendent. The council have any questions? Yes, Sue.
Does part of this levy go for capital projects too? Because I remember you telling me how old our youngest school building is. Our most recent school building, our youngest school building is how many years old?
Our youngest school building is 43 years old. And so it is time to start looking at facilities. I've asked the board to start a long-term planning task force. That task force will look at our capital projects. We have buildings full of single-pane windows that are not energy efficient. We need to do work on our roofs. We've got several roofs that must be replaced in the next 1 to 3 years. We've got boilers that need to be replaced, and we need to take a look at our playfields, one of those playfields being Joseph Street. And so in about 6 months' worth of meetings this winter, we're going to make a recommendation to the trustees on what we need to do for capital projects. So the long answer to the question, the maintenance and operation supplemental levy is for the operation of the district, and I'd like to not have some of those big projects in the operation funding.
Walter?
Thank you, ma'am. Superintendent, I think your graphs were for 2007 relative to 2011. I may have missed it in the presentation, but what is your student body count between those 2 years?
Our student body count, we're down about 154 kids in the 5 years.
Okay. Other questions? Dan?
Dale, you mentioned the Joseph Street ball fields. I assume that you and our Parks and Rec Director Dwight Curtis have been in communication to maybe hopefully doing some sort of joint project there with the city as far as doing something other than what we've been talking out at West Pouce River Drive.
We've talked for about the last year and a half now with all the members of the council, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Belknap, and everybody else. As a matter of fact, Bill Belknap is going to sit on this task force. I'm very happy that Bill is the one that got appointed.
Good.
Others? Wayne?
Well, Dale, this supplemental levy, once the amount is approved, that's in basically perpetuity. I mean, it just continues on year after year. Does that ever get reduced? I mean, how do you reduce it?
It could get reduced based on enrollment, based on revenue from the state. I would love to see the state take the responsibility to fund schools the way they need to, but that's not happening at this time, and based on the Students Come First legislation, I do not see it happening in the near future, but we could go to the voters and ask for it to be reduced if that funding would come back. I would be the happiest guy in town to be doing that for you.
It'd be like rolling back taxes, wouldn't it?
Yes,
That's
for
exactly
sure.
what it is. Second question that I have, Dale, is just to clarify on Sue's question. It's an operational and maintenance levy, which means it goes to operating of the system, the school district, but also some maintenance.
That's correct. And we have done several roof repairs in the last couple of years. We put a boiler in West Park last year. We put a boiler in the junior high school this year. Roof on McDonald last year, roof on West Park this year, and next year we have 3 partial sets of roofs that will come under this maintenance. But we're falling behind, and it's unfair to the voters to have to pay for that out of a permanent supplemental levy.
Okay.
Sue?
I just wanted to say, I remembered when the schools stopped getting money from property taxes because the state increased the sales tax, the 1%. And at that time, my property taxes went down about $600 from the school district. So I'm still not back to what I had been accustomed to paying all along. So this is still not going to be back to the property tax level we were paying several years ago.
That's a great observation. In addition, the Moscow School District does not carry a bond levy. And about 56 of the 115 districts in the state do carry one of those for some kind of capital projects. And so we don't have that levy as well.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Tom?
Well, given the decisions made in Boise that have been handed to the school district, it sure seems like this levy that's coming up is critical to the future of the school district. And hopefully we can see a bright future for the school district, and that we can, move us forward. The name of children, what students come first, seems like an ironic name given the results of what could happen to the kids in the school district if we're not able to fund the schools adequately.
Tom, thanks for that comment. Even with this levy, the trustees are going to continue to need to be fiscally conservative. This is not going to get us a lot more. We've had so many cuts that this will hopefully keep our system the way it is right now, so we can continue to do our best we can for the kids of Moscow like the community expects.
Okay. Anyone else? Superintendent Kleinert, thank you for coming, for taking the time to report on this. I think Moscow has had a reputation of supporting education. We hear over and over again, we read it in our newspapers, hear it on radio and TV, that an educated workforce is critical to the well-being of our country, and schools are an integral part of that. So best wishes to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very passionate about the Moscow School District. This is my 30th year in the district. I love this district, and you can't find a better school district anywhere. Thank you. And I do have some packets for those of you who are here. Thanks for giving me the time.
Thank you. Wayne?
And just a parting comment, Dale, as you're sitting down, it's no question for you, but it's just an article I was reading the other day that I think we lose sight of how blessed we are with our particular school district as opposed to some of the districts around this country, particularly in the inner city, where I've read where they have classroom sizes of up to 50 per 1 to 50 ratio. And I don't know how a student could even learn in an environment like that.
We're very lucky.
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Thanks again.